Howdy, and welcome to another episode of the Why I Create podcast. Today's episode features the podcast's first band interview, and I'm excited to get into it. This band is really doing the Lord's work with their music. They may not be a big band yet, but they use their talents to serve the church and bless many hearts. I was personally inspired by their song, Heaven is Here Now, which you will hear at the end of the episode. After hearing that song, I knew I needed them on an episode. Without further ado, here is
Heritage. My name is Matt. I'm a part of the band. I've been in the band for almost 10 years now. We are originally from LA County. Now we reside in Orange County, California. Music has been a part of my life and the other guys' lives for a long time. And we're just so grateful to be able to make music for Jesus and for our local churches. And it's a joy to do that together.
Yeah, I'm Andrew. I'm like 1/3 as well. Yeah, like Matt said, we've been doing this for about 10 years now, since 2015. It's 2025 now. And we love just writing songs. It's my passion. I love just getting to share my heart with the people that we lead worship for and that we do conferences for. And it's Heritage is a blessing to us, and it's a beautiful outlet of creativity. And really it's the story of Heritage is a story of friendship and a story of God just weaving stories together. And it's so cool. We might get into it a little bit later, but it's really cool how our story is actually kind of a full circle story, but we can get into that later.
And my name is David. I play drums in the band for Heritage. I've been a part of the band since the beginning, about 10 years, and I still live in LA County. I'm keeping it original. The other guys are in OC right now, but I'm an LA boy. And I've been playing drums since I was a young guy, about 8 years old. And I started playing in the church when I was around that age. And I started playing, my uncle invited me on stage on a Wednesday night and handed me a bongo drum in the middle of service. It was a very small church, very small church. And he said, "Hey, you want to play drums?" I said, "Sure." It was like second song mid-set, and I just hopped up there. And haven't looked back. God's been faithful. And I'm really blessed to be a part of Heritage. And it's my passion. And I love the Lord and love making music for Jesus.
And then the second question, what type of art do you create? So I'll answer this question first. The type of art that we create is predominantly Christian music, and we would consider ourselves a worship band. So we write songs and play songs for church, and that's kind of predominantly our lane. And we would say we're kind of a worship band, but we're also expansive in the sense that some of the songs that we make aren't really for a church context necessarily. They're more for like just a band, playing at a festival context or even a conference or something like that. And so it's kind of whatever comes out and whatever we like, we want to release. And sometimes that skews more towards maybe like stereotypical Christian music or left of center. And sometimes it skews more towards like the very typical what you would hear on a Sunday morning. But we find that is kind of like where we land is somewhere west of worship, or east of worship. And we like that space. But definitely we are a worship band at heart, and that's where we started. And that's kind of where we're headed to, is more being a worship band and leaning into that a little bit more in the years ahead. But I don't think we'll ever not write songs that are like kind of more creative or maybe I think it's worth exploring the song that won't get picked up on Sunday mornings. Not that any of our songs, except for maybe one or two, are being sung by people on Sunday.
That was great.
Do you guys want to speak into that?
I think you nailed it.
What is the most rewarding thing that you have experienced because of what you do?
So the most rewarding thing, that's a deep question that I've experienced. Sorry, I totally screwed that up.
It's okay.
Wait, what is the question? The most rewarding thing that I've experienced personally with this?
The most rewarding thing
Yeah.
that you have experienced because of what you do.
That's a deep question. So yeah, I really enjoy the aspect of being able to see something from start to finish, from first an idea, first a lyric, hearing a voice memo from Andrew, a song from start to finish, and being released and produced and getting to be a part of it is it's honestly a really unique thing, because it's something that it's just starts out as an idea and then it comes out and you get to work on it, and it comes out into a full song that you hear on either on Spotify or sung in church, and you see it touching people in a way that, music has a way of touching people that like nothing else, and it's so moving, and I think it's really cool to be just playing a small part in it, like playing drums live with it, and I think that's one of many things that's really special.
Yeah, I might touch on this too, because I think songwriting can be like being a gardener, and you plant the seed, and then you're like watering it, and you're doing the work, and then you're kind of seeing the song kind of come to life, and then all of a sudden, like, the song's out, and then it's like a sunflower, and you get to like harvest the sunflower seeds from that, and you get to like partake in it, and everyone else gets to partake in it, and you just see the fruit of it. And I think it's really cool to see the fruit of what you kind of tend to and what we create, and then it kind of has a life of its own after that, and it's everybody else's after that. Like, a good example is our song Never Fade. We played that song, we wrote that song for the Reality Conference, which is a conference that we're a part of. We've been a part of for the last 3 years, and we wrote that song for the conference, and we got to basically play that song for the whole reality season, which is like 8 months or 6 months. And then we were recording it, and all of a sudden, it's at the end of the conference, and we finally were able to release it. But it's cool because now that song's been in people's minds and hearts, and like it's lived somewhere, but now it's theirs, and they can listen to it if they want to, and it can be part of their maybe devotional life or their day-to-day worship, or they can throw it on a playlist, and it just has a life of its own, which is awesome. So I think the reward is the fruit, and seeing the fruit, and the messages that we get, and the people that we meet, I think too, is a huge reward. I think also a big reward is like getting to meet people, and because we come here every Tuesday. We've been coming as a band every Tuesday for the last probably like 5 years. So we have this is what we're doing right now. We have our Tuesday thing, and our Tuesday like band meeting, band rehearsal, band practice, business, whatever it ends up being. And we don't really see people, and we don't really see we see each other, but we don't really get to like talk to other people or meet people. And so the reward sometimes is just to like see people and get to hang out, and have conversations at the merch booth, and just, I don't know, I think like part of what we do is just getting to just be Jesus to people and meet people, and it's a huge part of it, and a gift to be able to do that. So
It was 2014 was the year that we kind of officially came together as a band. Prior to that, myself, my brother David, and Andrew, obviously my brother and I have been born in the same house and everything. So we grew up together, playing worship together, being best buds with Andrew since we were little babies. Our parents both were in ministry together for a long time. So we were like the church kids running around as our parents are kind of serving and doing stuff. And we were kind of groomed in the ministry together. Andrew ended up moving kind of cross country and everything. David and I obviously stuck together and everything. And throughout the years, Andrew was still one of our best buds. So every time he would come visit or everything, we'd hang out and catch up and everything. And just it's such a sweet like childhood like friendship. So then years later, we must have been I think early 20s, 2014. So at that point, Andrew ends up moving back to California, where David and I have been leading worship at my dad's church. Andrew moved back, ended up moving in with my parents, and just like a family best bud friend moving in with the family, and so him being in the house and everything, we just started. And Andrew's been an amazing worship leader for a long time, so us being together, it just naturally formed into picking back up our friendship where we left off, but also really pouring into music and worship at our local church. And from there, 2014, 2015, playing a lot of music together and kind of being asked around by local churches like, hey, could you come and do worship for our men's breakfast? Or could you come do worship for like this event? And so we started doing it more often. And the next thing you know, like, hey, we're kind of being asked like a lot to do some stuff. And we have some songs, like maybe we could, it just naturally formed into like something. So we ended up putting like, oh, we should probably put a name to like what we're doing. Like we feel like a band. And then from there, Heritage was born, and haven't stopped since then.
Question 5, what drives you to keep creating even when it feels like no one pays attention? Well, truly, we're such a small band at this point. Not a whole lot of people are paying attention other than when we release something and maybe we get, put on a Spotify playlist or something, and more people listen that way. And so I think in that way, we've really just been consistent in doing what we've been doing for the last 10 years, really with our friends watching, our family watching, maybe some people that we don't even know of watching, but a very small, intimate fan base. And I think what drives us to keep creating is, I think I personally am just compelled to write because I feel like I have to, and I feel like it's something that is in me that needs to come out, and needs to be expressed. And I think that, and also, I think creativity is really vital and important to every person, and creativity can look a lot of different ways. But I think for me as a songwriter, Heritage has been such a beautiful outlet, not just because I really enjoy the types of songs that come to me for Heritage, but I just appreciate the friendship aspect of it. And like, I think we're all just friends first, and we like continue doing this because we're friends and because we enjoy doing it. Like, we wouldn't want to do it if it wasn't enjoyable and if it wasn't something that gave us life. And we every week we take time to do this, and we're taking time from our families that we could be home with them, and we're so thankful for them lending their time to us doing this. But we also feel compelled to do it because there is a mandate from Scripture to make disciples of all the nations. And I think in some little small way, what we do makes and can make people think differently about God, or remind them about something that maybe a characteristic of God. Like we have a song called Never Leave, and it's a really beautiful promise of God that he'll never leave us, he'll never forsake us, and wherever we go, he's with us. And I think in some small way, even when no one's watching, like the fact of what we do has eternal implications, in the sense that maybe someone was encouraged by something that we wrote, or something that they heard. And I think that that's enough of a reason to want to keep going, you know. So there's a creativity aspect in like feeling like we really need to just do it and want to do it, and it's fun and it's exciting, and I think the creative process is really exciting, just getting to like see something from the beginning to the very end, and like getting to do it with your friends, and it feels like just an exciting journey to be on. What is the thing you're most proud of?
I'm really proud of my family. I'm really proud of the home I grew up in and how I was raised, even though things aren't always perfect, and upbringings aren't always perfect. But I would say I'm very proud of my mom and my dad for following God's calling on their lives and being faithful in ministry and praying over me so much. And I'm proud to be a part of that, and that I've grown up in that sort of environment, when I know a lot of people don't have that luxury to have both their parents around. And I'm so proud that they are still together, and that they love God, and that's worked its way into my life. And now I'm doing the same thing with my family. Got a beautiful wife that's way out of my league, with 3 beautiful kids that are just, oh my gosh, they are so, joys of my life. And I'm very proud of that. Proud to be a father and be a part of this band.
I'm proud that we have been a band for as long as we have, and there's been times where I think we look at like our discography or whatever, and we're like, we should probably have like 2 albums by now at 10 years. We have a few EPs, and we have a lot of memories, and we're working on more music and stuff. But I think we're proud. I'm proud, at least, from a music standpoint. From that standpoint, I'm really proud of what we've done so far, and just being able to stay together. We've seen a lot of different people, whether they're friends or, bands that we've crossed paths with, and they're like no longer bands, but we're somehow still here, still kicking. Proud of that fact. I'm proud that, I guess it goes back to the question of, what keeps you going. I think it's just, there's just something about being here and doing this thing that it just feels like we need to do it, and until it feels like we don't need to do it, then we won't. But I'm proud of the songs. I'm proud of the hours that we've put in, and I'm proud of the quality of what we've made over the years, given that we're such a small band. I think and believe that, quality is really important. Obviously, quantity is important as well in this economy. But, I'm really proud of where we've come from, too. And I just see the hand of God, like, tying our stories together, and proud that we're still here, still kicking, And of course, I'm very proud of my family, very proud of my wife, my little girl, and yeah, I'm proud to be a dad. I think that it's just life-changing. It's so rewarding. Yeah, I don't know. But no, I'm proud. I'm a proud dad. Proud dad, proud father. Yeah, proud of the things that I get to make, and yeah, I get to be a part of. Musical influences.
Man, at least for me, some musical influences, they go like way back to like my early development as like a musician. People that inspired me a ton. I was really, really into hardcore music growing up, and something I admired greatly from like the whole like Christian metal scene, whatever you want to call it, was just the fact that people were so I think devoted to something, and they weren't like, they were unashamed. It came across that way. And as far as like artists go, I think that's such an important characteristic in like your craft, to pursue something with consistency and unapologetically. And I think that was a lot of foundational things that were kind of put in me at an early age, watching a lot of those bands. We used to go to a ton of like live like concerts and big like festivals and stuff. And I remember just being like, just so like, man, that is the coolest thing, like seeing these guys live and being a part of something. And the music is just so loud and like inspiring. And I think that's just something that I've always kind of carried with me, of like, man, I would love to just be a part of somebody else feeling that, you know? And so as far as like an inspiration, yeah, a lot of those bands, like they go really, really hard. So that was kind of formative for me. As for now, I've been a lot more into much more acoustic kind of things, much more kind of delicate.
What are we talking? What are we talking here?
I'm a big John Mayer fan. I love me some John Mayer. I think he's just incredible. I'm also like big into like weirdly, like I love pop. Like a big
Same.
I could dig some like poppy music. Like I love me some Jonas Brothers.
Ooh,
Shout out. I'll just say, yeah, I think it's just like a big pool of things that kind of get mixed around, and then whatever comes out is like a just a ton of things from like all filtered through my own personal experience, or however you would say it.
I feel like it's really lame, but like I love Coldplay, you know, Radiohead.
Coldplay's great.
Yeah, Tom York of Radiohead. He's great. I love Casey Musgraves, you know, just like threading that needle of like acoustic, but, you know, country, but has like pop as well. Yeah, same. I love pop music. I think it's so fun and also really hard to achieve and hard to get, like what people don't realize, like, because we've kind of played a lot with like pop music and producing our own kind of version of that, is that it's very very specific and very hard to get right in certain places, and like it's hard to be perfect, you know. Like, and I don't think music's really supposed to be perfect, but pop music, there's an air of like get it right, get it perfect, and that's really hard to do. But no, I agree. I like pop music, acoustic type music. Yeah. Experimental. Andrew Bell, I think, is one that we all really like. I'm trying to think of like collective influences too, like someone I think, Coldplay we reference a lot. Andrew Bell.
You know what? Even sorry, I'll chime in. M83.
Oh
was
yeah,
a big one. I remember when
dude,
Midnight
Bon
City
Iver
first came. Oh, Bon Iver.
Bon Iver, come on.
But going back to Midnight City, man, when that first dropped, I was like, I think everyone was kind of like, "What is this?" That synth intro, and just how hard it hit. And it still hits hard. You can just put that on in full blast in your car, and that still hits. What else? I was listening to some throwbacks today. I was listening to Copeland.
Oh
You
my
heard that
gosh,
band?
yeah, I remember them.
I was listening to that. I oddly listened to Reliant K today, and I just listened to the whole album.
That's a great album.
Oh,
Phoenix,
so good.
Amadeus.
Oh, dude, yes.
Is that what the album's
Phoenix.
called?
Phoenix, 1901. Right?
1901. Yeah.
1901? Yeah.
I mean, I forget the exact album name, but yeah,
It
1901.
is Amadeus.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I don't know. Lot of
Vampire
stuff there.
Weekend.
Oh, yeah, Vampire Weekend.
Wow.
A lot of like 20 like teens indie stuff. Like I really like Lord. Still like Lord, big Lord fan. Yeah, Bon Iver back then.
It's a huge one. Yeah.
There's more there, but love the Beatles, going classic here. Beatles, Beach Boys. Yeah. Love all of it. Is there any past experience that highly influences your art?
Yeah, past experience, and we kind of touched on this in the beginning, growing up at church and being surrounded by worship genre music has been extremely influential for our art form. I think much of it was the music side of it, but a lot of it was just growing up at church and just really with the foundations of biblical Christianity and those values and being raised in that, and really just how music for all of us has always been just about Jesus and really a pouring of our hearts out, and it all goes back to like what God has done for us. And so those early experiences, and not even, early on, which were, vital, but even now, where we're at, it's still the same thing. So it's kind of pulling from a deep like well that's within us, and that's just constantly there. So, I've written songs for like my wife and everything and my kids, and it's just so much fun. But really writing music that honors God is like the ultimate satisfactory thing for me and for all of us. So, those past experiences have greatly formed and influenced us in every aspect.
Yeah, I think growing up in a musical household, and then like growing up in a house of like a worship leader and a music teacher, I think definitely influence. It was like an amoeba effect. Like I just absorbed what was around me and started writing music at like 15, and then just kept going and kept doing it, and I loved it, and it was something that I loved to just experiment with. I was always writing songs like when I was like 14, 15, and like my mom had like a studio, as in like a music studio where she would like do lessons, like a lesson studio, and I would always just go in there and play and just like write songs, and it was just so fun. Like, and then flash forward, we get to do what we do, and yeah, I think like growing up in the church was really formative. In my house, it was like always Christian radio. It was always like the worship songs we were singing on Sunday. And so it was like kind of, you could just set the rudder was kind of set in that way of like, this is the music that I grew up listening to, that I kind of liked, and that I was like a part of, my conscience, and so it's like naturally what kind of comes out is what you grew up with and what you're most used to. But I think also, it's in like all of that, I think when you grow up and you're so familiar with something and like that music, you naturally want to do something a little different. And I think I don't know if anyone else would say this if they listen to our music. Maybe they'd be like, that sounds like everything else. But we try to make music that feels like it's it can live in church, but it also can live in other spaces, which I think is awesome, and maybe transcends church and transcends that experience. And that's also our hope, is that, for people that have grown up in church and they're kind of tired of like just your standard worship stuff. It gets kind of tired and tiresome to listen to, that we give them something that feels a little bit more, just a change of scenery a little bit. But it still feels familiar. I think that's kind of like where we want to land, in that, in that space. All right. I want to just briefly go back to question 4, because I remember what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
I think coming back to California was a very full circle moment for me, because over the years, like Matt said, I would come back to California, and our parents were friends and we were friends, and then to come back and live with their family and also go to the church that I remember my dad started that church in the 90s. Then we moved away, we did all our things, and then Pastor Mark, their dad, took over the church in like the early 2000s. It was like another guy, another pastor, and then he took over. And so coming back to California in a church that my dad had planted in the late 90s, and to like meet my friends there and to have this experience like as a band was so, like, I moved to, from California, I moved to Tennessee, then to Florida, then to Idaho, and then made this huge loop over like 20 years back to California. So I came back to California and I met up with, Matt and David and a few of our other friends that were part of the band at the time. And we just started like making music, and because I had been writing songs, like I was like, I just have some songs, and like we all just started like, collaborating and being a band, and it just felt very organic, and like the Lord had like put all these pieces together for that thing to happen, for this band to happen, and for that friendship to like carry on. And I think the one really beautiful thing about Heritage is that it's something that unifies us, and it's actually something that like keeps our friendship like not going, but like we meet every week. And I don't know if we would see each other as often if we didn't have this thing like built in, like, and I think that's really cool. It's like something that we can share together, and we don't just play music, we're like talking about our lives, and we're all dads and like husbands, and it's like this space where we get to like be bros and friends, and also like keep each other accountable, and like pray for each other, and like it's so much more than the band. But it's just cool how like the Lord leads us to different spaces, and you can just see like the hand of God like in our history. Are you where you want to be, or is there a higher goal? What do you guys want to answer?
This is about the band, right?
Just keep the band in mind.
Oh yeah.
I want to be a better husband, better.
Yeah.
I want to get ripped.
Yeah, I think as a band, we always want to be kind of pushing the envelope and always progressing, and not to say that we are not where we want to be. I feel like there's always something else to go for, like something to look forward to. So as far as the current state of Heritage, I think this is the fruit from years and years of labor and journeying together and seeking the Lord together. So where we find ourselves in 2025 is really the fruit of a ton of things, and it's a wonderful season to be in. However, looking forward to the future of Heritage, we want to continue just to move forward and progress and put up more music, and build our audience and, reach more people for the gospel. So we are very, at least I could speak for all of us, I believe, like content with who we are and what we're doing as a band. However, like, man, tomorrow we hope for so much more and for more ground coverage. And so it's exciting. So, and there's so many opportunities before us and so much more room for growth. And I'm excited for all that and to progress into that. So yeah, it's happy where we're at, but want to continue to grow in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think one big goal is just we want to release our first album.
Yeah.
That's a huge goal. So we're currently working on a batch of songs that have the potential of being that first album, because we've released some EPs over the years. But the album, like, there's just never been a batch of songs that's felt super like ready for like that format. So there is a batch of songs as of now that feels like it could be part of a bigger project. So we're very, very excited and looking forward to that. And hopefully next year that will be something we can do. So, what do we hope people take away?
I hope first and foremost that people, when they hear our music, get really, really inspired and excited and would like to blast the music and roll down the windows and have a good time. I would love that because that's what I do. But I also want them to just know that they are loved by God. And I think if we can, I think our lyrics, that's our message, the gospel, and our lyrics speak that over people. And I think that if someone can just hear our songs and know that they're deeply loved by God and that there's a Father who wants a relationship with them, I think, that has the power to change lives. So I think that's like the highest achievement, if they can hear that in like maybe a song that's slower or, it might not be as upbeat and it's like isn't our number one song on the EP or what have you. I think that's an honor. But yeah, also hope they get really inspired and rock out to our music.
Totally.
Yeah, like David said, really just really hoping that when people hear our music, that they take away that, yeah, they're seen and that they're known and that they're loved and that they're not alone. And whoever's listening to this podcast, you are not alone. And you are seen, you are known, you are loved. And there's a God who loves you very, very much. And we hope that through our music, that you are drawn into that understanding and get plugged into a community of people who are like-minded, who can help you on that journey wherever you find yourself. So I really hope these songs just draw you to that. And obviously, I mean, Heritage being around for all these years, we're just so grateful for the opportunity to do that. And yeah, we do a lot of fun stuff that we love doing, but it's so much not about us as Heritage or people, but really just about Jesus. So we hope that that's the biggest takeaway from listening to our tunes.
Yeah, we love music. We love Jesus. We love people. And, I think for me, what I hope people hear is the joy that we have, the friendship, and the friendship that we have with Jesus, and that he's good and he's kind and his heart for his people is good. And, and hearing his promises, and that they know that he's with you. Also, like David said, like going on a run and just throwing on one of our songs, like that it can be with you in moments of your life. And, whatever moment that looks like, if it's like this is like my favorite song to like put on when I go on a run or what have you. I think that's really special. But yeah, most of all, we just want you to know the message is really about Jesus and about his grace. And that's what the story of Heritage is the story of grace and the story of love and, a friendship and, us being, very from unlikely places, brought into this beautiful thing that we call Heritage. And now we get to share that life and that thing that God did so many years ago with other people. So, that's at least my heart. If there is a project or anything you want to advertise, feel free to do so. We just released an EP called No Fear in Your Love last September. We would love for you to listen to that. And we just released a single called Never Fade, which is the song that we have played at our favorite conference, Reality Conference. Shout out Stand to Reason and all the people that make that conference happen. Anyways, we wrote a song for that conference called Never Fade, and we just released that single. It's on Spotify, everywhere you can get music. And those are the most recent things that we've done, and we would love for you to listen to those. This song is called Heaven is Here Now. It's one of our favorites. It's a kind of upbeat song. The message is really just that unlike a lot of people who have kind of a negative view on this world and, that this world is evil and this world is, bound for, everyone's going to hell in a handbasket, that we believe that there is a piece of heaven that can be available to us, even now on earth as it is in heaven, that the joy that we have in Jesus can be a taste of what's to come. And so the song Heaven is Here Now is about our experience that grace abounds to us, even here. And right where we stand, there's a promised land. So here's Heaven is Here Now.
One day, love will be the only currency. Pure light will stretch out wide and cover everything until we see what we believe. We're living proof of the mystery. Heaven is here now. We don't have to wait for the streets of gold or the pearly gates. Heaven is here now. With the life you gave, you paid for all. You made a way. One day I'll close my eyes and wake on heaven's shore. I'll rise and walk with you forevermore. But on this earth and for all time, you're the treasure we were meant to find. 'Cause heaven is here now. We don't have to wait for the streets of gold or the pearly gates. Heaven is here now. With the life you gave, you paid for all. You made a way. Right where we stand, there's a promised land. Right where we stand, there's a promise. Right where we stand, there's a promised land. Right where we stand, there's a promise. Heaven is here now. 'Cause heaven is here now. We don't have to wait for the streets of gold or the pearly gates.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Make sure to check out Heritage on their socials and their website at heritvge.com. That's spelled HERITVGE, heritage.com. Also, check out their music wherever you stream. Please follow the podcast and share it with friends. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Until next time.
Boom, baby. Right where we stand.